Hey family, how are things? Locked in, locked down, staying at home, missing the burgers, missing the joints, missing the malls and the movies and the long drives and adventure. How is this going on? So as I'm talking to you, I know I have touched some of the the pain points of people who are like locked in for the last so many days now. And I'm again back to you with definitely next new sets of information, new set of motivation, new set of much more guidances that you can do something even though you are locked down, locked in, but you can unlock your true potentials. So with that, let me welcome the guest of honor for us for today's show, and let me welcome Abha Banerjee. Just to probably give you a kind of a small insight and introduction, because she herself is an introduction by herself. Just to tell you, she is India's first international woman motivational speaker. Not only that, she has got many more accolades with her, including author, including some of the interviews that she has taken with world-renowned people in terms of motivation speaking as well. That includes Brian Tracy, which is something which you can find out on our websites. Plus, she is an ardent reader, voracious reader plus an author as well. And I don't know, I'm just getting out of words. So welcome Abha to the show. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Amit. Thank you, Amit. Pleasure being here. Thank you so much.
So Abha, I have got so much of things. I mean, I don't know how do I put all these things together. So if at all, if I need people to see who is Abha, what would be your one way of introducing yourself?
An absolutely dedicated person to people building who wants to make a difference to the world of people and add to the quality of their life and thought. So I'm like a person who will tell you that you can live your life way better than what you're doing and what you can do with that and how you can do it.
Awesome. So let me, Abha, let's start with this interview with a very nice thing that I've understood is, you had been motivating probably thousands of people so far across the globe. But what was your self-motivation? Let me just ask, what was your source of that one day, one spark that you said, okay, let me jump out of whatever I'm doing and start the world to be a better place?
Okay, let me, can I give you a little background of how this all started?
Please.
Yeah. Okay, so Amit, what happened was like, I'm this social, I dream about social change. When I was a kid, I used to dream about social change. I was this kid who was different and who had so much opinion around the world that my parents were sick of me. They wanted me to just shut up, and they said, don't talk again because you talk too much, and you can't talk up. You're still a kid. These are things you don't understand. But somehow, somewhere what happened was that I could design solutions. I could see people not doing things that they could do. And do something well with what was going on. And I found that a lot of people around me were willing to live with problems. They would give in very fast. They would say, all right, nothing can be done. And here I was, a small girl who was this gawky little kid who was loudmouth and opinionated, and who would say there is a solution. And they would say this is just an ill-behaved child because she wants to tell, but the solution would be correct. And it came out that it was they were correct and the solutions did exist. But the turning point for me was somewhere around the age of 17, that I was in college, and I used to be bullied because I used to be very thin and I used to look like a boy. So I was in a girls' college with lots of girls, and I was the boy. So you can imagine what that meant for all the girls. And I was bullied and teased and laughed at for not being not having being very, very, very thin and whatever, the way girls look at. So girls bully too, for that matter. So now here I was, and I was being bullied. And I came crying home in one May afternoon in Delhi, 45 degrees temperature. I walked back from my college. I was so angry. And why did they bully me? What is their problem in life? And I came home, and I picked up the Bhagwad Gita. My mom used to read. I had these books in my house. And I realized that, you could actually help people in a situation like this. These things happen every day, and there's nobody to talk about these things. And this is many decades back. So at that time, I felt a sense that, we need to have some kind of education around this. We need to help people, each other grow. We can't bring people down. We should not be hurting people. We should not be harming people. And that's where the thought started to, take root in my mind. And then I said, all right, let me figure out. And this is just at the age of 17. And my vision was that we need to create an education around it. because people paid attention to education. They did not pay attention to the quality of life. So if I created this in the education, I would be in a position to probably influence people. So slowly from that space on, and I took up law, and I felt, because, and I was always working in the social sphere. I've done a lot of social work, and I realized, and my main core thing is that people's mind should be so built that whatever happens, you should be in a position to tackle it. Because life doesn't come on a plate. What comes to you tomorrow, you don't know. Either you can build yourself or you can fall down. So I never wanted anybody to fall down. I used to feel bad for people falling down. I used to feel, why are they not living their potential? Why are they not using the solution? And then later in my this thing, I realized that not everybody is built the same way. Not everybody is brought up the same way. Not everybody thinks the same way. And
Right.
that's what brought me to this place where I felt, yes, we need to do more than what we are already doing by just talking. We need to create something more than that, where people can pick on their lives and live their best life. That was my motivation. So I said, let's design our lives. Let's not live our lives. Let's design every day. Let's get up in the morning and know what these 24 hours are going to be. So it's quite fun for me.
So I have a kind of a list of questions, but I don't know we have so much of time or not.
Yes.
But I see that the amount of topics that you have delivered in your life, probably you have just
Yes.
given me a nutshell of it, and it's a book by itself. I mean, I just have the topics itself. It's a book by itself.
Yes.
And one of the biggest thing that I feel is you have spoken many times about critical thinking, emotional
Yes.
fitness,
Yes.
a lot of change and adaptations. What
Yes.
would be your one thing, because you have done it all across the world now,
Yeah.
and now it is a chance that we whatever we learn, and now we have a time and a place and a situation
Yes.
to implement those things,
Right. Right.
right? So over to you. How do you feel
Are,
that
are you are you referring to the COVID, or are you referring in general?
I mean, over to you. You can take it as a
Oh,
general, but
yeah.
I think
So,
you can
okay.
relate to the
Now,
COVID as
here,
well.
see, for me, the number of things I have managed to do is purely because I was focused on this area, and this area brings to you not just one. Like you say, okay, leadership, but then leadership includes emotional intelligence, it includes performances, it includes critical thinking, it includes, various other things. So that is how I got this opportunity, where I had because I'm a leadership author. I've been doing leadership seminars, so this falls under that. And it is also, if you take it, it's a standalone thing. If you were to learn critical thinking, you can. If you were to do it as part of something, you can still do it, and add emotional intelligence to it when it comes to leadership. So these are the combinations. If you would see on my website, these are the kind of combinations that you'll see. However, it all falls under leadership, or whether it is corporate leadership or personal leadership. Okay, so now that one thing that I would really, at the moment when I'm talking to you, I'm really keen on talking about, and like I said, I'm a people building. My whole focus in life, like, I'm hung ho about the impact that people can make. I believe it's all about people and how they think. So the
Right.
difference between two people is how they think and how they
Sure.
function. So if I can impact in some way, and because I can only assist, I can't teach anything to anybody, people do it themselves. But even if we're able to sow that seed where people begin to look at their functioning, because their functioning is what will give them the results of the day. Their function is going to tell them whether they're productive or unproductive. The function is, so the functioning is a process, it's a scientific process, and a lot of people do not know about it. So we come from our education, and some people are good at it, some people are not so good at it. Some people are good because of their background, some people are not good because they haven't got the same kind of opportunity to work upon them. But there is a way to deal with that, and I really believe everybody should spend at least 30% of the time building themselves up, so that the 70% of the time they can be their highest productive selves. So whatever they're doing, whether if they're in a job, they're raising their families, they want to create wealth, they want to create a business, they have to be very good at themselves. So that level of self-awareness and personal leadership. So that is one of my messages here through your interview, that personal leadership is key, and personal leadership then flows off to the rest of the stuff that you do.
Right.
Therefore, being the nucleus of your own life, and whatever you do, you need to be perfect, And I don't mean the perfection wala perfect. It's the perfect,
Yeah.
as in, how do you keep building yourself up? How do you build your foundation and keep growing to a point where you can call yourself that when I go, Abha goes, or Amit goes, or XYZ goes, we know for a fact that we're going to come back 100%. So that
Sure.
level of productivity, confidence, and result orientation is something that I'm aiming at through my motivation speaking and the leadership seminars and education that I do. And
Yeah,
that's my thought. So all these come under it. So if me and you were talking and we were to work together, I would really be, we have to be critical thinkers.
definitely.
Now this is a topic which is in the MBA schools. Otherwise, we don't talk about it, or it comes in training. So I say, why not to general people?
Absolutely.
Why don't we allow people to start not about what to think, but how to think, and
Exactly.
influence in that manner so that their results become better?
You have put one more point in one of the
Yes.
topics which I was actually reading your biography somewhere, and I came out with this interesting topic which called as lead from the back.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I
Yeah.
think this is the right time to ask you this question: is if it is
Yes.
something that a nucleus thought process and the inner influence has to come out,
Yes.
and then there is a leadership that is formed. How would you take such a situation where you can lead from the back? What is your thought on that?
I think it's a very good. Thank you for bringing that up, because usually leadership, because so many leadership models are there. But when you say lead from the back, it's a very powerful thing in terms of what can come close to that is servant leadership. Like allowing other people, building other people to a point where they can do things on their own. That's the important part of any leadership situation. We
Okay.
have to let people do their thing. And how do you inspire? So there's inspiration, there's impact, there's influence, there's communication, there's conversation, there's strategy, there's vision, there's mission. There's so many things that need to be flowing through those people,
Hmm. Hmm.
but being led by the leader. So the leader has to take a back seat and not be visible in the front, but make each person be able to carry that on, which is if you see what's
So
going
nice.
on just now, because the COVID-19 thing, you see how the country has to be brought together,
Right.
not for purposes of, I mean, of course, the health issue is definitely there, but this is a collective issue. For example, this is not an individual issue. Like if I were just washing my hands, I don't think I can stop the country from going through the crisis. I cannot do that. However, to be able to get together collectively, even for a small period of time, to get that camaraderie going through, to get that collective feeling going through, to be able to support each other in some manner, that is the job of the leadership on the back. That we
Right.
have to be able to create a system of support. It may not look like a very big system. It may not look like a very scientific system. It may not look like something really from the MBA schools, but we have to have people to get up and feel it. So the insecurity that people are feeling, the psychological stress that has come into people, suddenly come into people's lives, that safety that has gone out of the window, that people are thinking so many things. The family is there, money is there, jobs are there, God knows what's going on. So that confusion needs to be caught hold of by the leader, but it has to be done from the back, not from the front, because now the people, if you see 5 days ago, through 2 days ago, people were in the front. They were doing something which looked insignificant to a lot of people, but brought so many people together.
Right.
So I feel it's a leadership from the back is a very powerful phenomenon for any leader.
Yeah.
It's a good
And
thing.
I think you rightly mentioned that the only one permanent thing in this world is two things. One is death and one is change.
Change, yes,
And you have a very interesting topic which says mastering the change.
yes,
And that is something which is so profound as you have this leader
yeah,
getting inside the system and pushing, motivating, inspiring, and
yes,
showing the rest of the team how to move forward.
right.
And at this point of time when the leader is also been locked in and the team is also locked in, this is a
Right.
fantastic phenomenon. I think we'll never able to
Don't
see in
it's
the fast.
fascinating, don't you think so? I think
Absolutely.
it's a very huge learning opportunity. If we don't die, I think we will learn a lot. If we don't die of COVID, we're going to be learning a lot of stuff in these next few days also. And what we've learned in the past week, I really think change management, managing change is actually managing time and opportunity. So,
Absolutely.
and managing people through that time. So, which will
Mhm.
include not just the leader managing the people, but people managing themselves.
Correct.
So this is the whole change management process, is a to and fro process of managing time and people at the same time, given the circumstance, whatever it is. So apart from the what we are seeing as an immediate exercise that needs to be done to stop a crisis coming into the country, if you see from in the background, there are so many things that are happening which will allow people to actually look back inside themselves and see, okay, I never thought of this.
Correct.
How come I was sitting in the house? I'm like a regular educated person. I'm so good and I'm so smart. Why didn't I think of this? Why didn't I come out with some simple stuff like this? And actually change is about being the level of awareness that one needs for change it's a minute to minute thing. Because who changes? It's the people who change with the situation. Now, if our
Right.
people are not able to adapt to change, no change can happen.
Yeah.
Therefore, the mental strength, therefore this mental direction that needs to be given to people to adapt to something, which is as simple as lighting a candle, as simple as, coming up and saying that, yeah, we're going to stay indoors. We saw videos of people being beaten up with lathis because they're not going inside their houses. I saw some funny videos, I said, and people abroad are using those videos. So this is how India controls coronavirus. So I was laughing away because I'm from UP. So UP is a normal thing, people get, this is like a normal thing. Chalte firte you get a danda, police wala maar deta hai. So I was laughing away. I said, this is going to look like a India branding that we hit people. But that's not true. So the change part is very interesting over here. You see how many layers of change are taking place from the danda on the backside to the level of change that is being executed at the medical levels,
Yeah.
or at the scientific levels, or at the collective isolation levels. And if you see the corporate sector, the speed with which the work is being reorganized from people's homes or through online, this thing. So it is such I really think it's so powerful, as such a huge learning opportunity for all of us to be able to manage change and learn from change and be the change. Go ahead and do the change, because otherwise we'll be left behind,
Right.
watching television during COVID-19.
So I have kind of a very fantastic point to make, because
Yes.
since I was reading a lot of things, I'm sure you have found out that there are a lot of
Yes.
hidden technologies and tactics
Yeah.
and hacks are there. So the lady on my side has a huge amount of things. So guys, if you are watching this live, you can definitely comment in here. She'll be tagged in here. I'm sure she is open to give answers to the kind of questions we can get from you. And this is one question that I'm not able to stop myself to ask is, you have talked about something called as the pyramidal way of leadership, that the leadership sits on the top of the pyramid and he runs the entire show.
Yeah.
And on the other side, you have also shared the hub and spoke model, where unit leaderships are formed in every department when they take their own decisions.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And now, since we have unit sub-nucleus, and I think that's the name of the entire fraternity, what Abha takes care of it, called nucleus. And now this nucleus needs to be trained inwards.
Yes.
It needs to take that leadership from back of the team side, kind of a thing. And
Yeah.
now, since we are locked in, this is an opportunity, as she rightly said. So Abha, this question goes back to you. How do you relate this with the Indian traditions, the different kind of books that you have written and what one can learn from this time, this situation, the circumstances, because you are also somebody who helps people to adapt to the change.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned the leadership models. Now, the point over here is there's no one leadership model that can work at this point of time. Okay, so okay. I think all models will have to be brought in. The systematic thing that, especially with the technology coming in, smaller teams and smaller decision-making bodies are there now in various ways that are taking smaller decisions, and those plugging them into bigger decisions, and then we can have a leader on the top, because there's some level of strategy and tactic that is going to go into this kind of exercise. But having said that, I think adapting to change is one of the key leadership. Not just I don't say it's a leadership. It should be a leadership goal. Okay. Every leader should be able to lead people not just towards change, into change, but through change, in the manner that people come out stronger on the other side. Okay. So it cannot be we just managed it and everything then fell apart and everybody went back to their work. That is going to happen in the practical sense. But what is the purpose of change? So a good leader would utilize every opportunity of change to get the people on the other side better than they were when they were prior to the change. So having said that, in this particular circumstance, where we would say from the leadership perspective, the whole thing is being managed. One is the management. Two is the journey. Three will be the results.
Right.
Okay. And fourth will be the end game where we will see, okay, what are we left with? Because that is not visible at this point of time. So from the first three, when I say the management, the journey, and the results, we are able to see that almost on a daily basis.
Correct.
Whether we have been able to curb the thing, whether it is lesser, whether it is more, where it is being controlled, what can be done to control. But on the other hand, there are individual, I think now we have all been pushed into a situation of individual leadership also. If I were to say, this lockdown is an opportunity for individual leadership for all of us.
Right.
We are not in a position to do collective leadership. We are not the leaders sitting over there. But as an individual leader, what are you supposed to do? Can we see that we have all become individual leaders, becoming part of a team?
Absolutely. That was exactly my next question.
Yeah.
I was about to ask you about
team. Yeah, please.
So I was about to ask you, now from this adaptation to the next change, from team player to the self-leadership mastery, what you are rightly talking about. I think that's the next question. That was the last question, in fact, I wanted to ask you. Please go ahead. I think it's very interesting.
Yeah, so let's see, because there's a big picture and there's a small picture. There's a long-term thing, there's a short-term thing. So we need to be able to oscillate successfully between these polarities at all times. And this opportunity, I feel, because I was just talking to somebody before you, and I said, what artificial intelligence was supposed to do 3 years from now, where people would have, actually thought about what we're thinking about now, locked inside our own houses. The same situation has arisen due to some virus somewhere, but we are now literally struggling to understand how to adapt to a change in this manner. What happens tomorrow? Something like artificial intelligence could have done the same thing to us, and it wouldn't have been a crisis. It would have been a model, which all business schools would have studied and brought in, and business houses would have talked about it. Now, having said that, I think collectively we are part of a team, functioning as best as we can. But this is also a moment of individual mastery, self-mastery. And for me, I really believe that when I said I'm a people-building person and I'm absolutely fascinated by a person's potential, I really would not want anybody from the 1.35 billion people in our country to go down or live less. So having, in that sense, having said that, I believe that, the mastery lies, and we have this opportunity now that we are divided into 5 primary segments, that is physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, and financial.
Absolutely.
This is the 5 that we have to, when we are talking about ourselves.
Yeah.
All right. But there is a 6th one that is added now, and that is community.
Yes.
So we have the opportunity today to now align all these together. Now we have to be in strategic alignment with what is going on outside of us, which will end in some time, and then what happens? We will still have the opportunity to take this experience that we've just had of becoming masters individually and being a team, and as well as being individual masters of our physical spaces, our physical selves. Now, because there's a crisis, we need to think of these things. So you're emotionally charged, you are mentally stressed out, you're physically worried about your health. There's money that is going down or being spent for nothing coming back in, right? Spiritually, or everybody's praying, I hope this crisis gets over, right? And as at the community level, we are feeling a sense of belonging. We can stand up for each other, man. Where's the problem? We never talk to our neighbors. Now here we are, standing with each other in the morning and practicing social distancing from a distance, saying, hi, how are you? Do you need anything? It's so basic, right? So we now have the opportunity to focus on these 5 parts of our life. And I hope everybody who's watching this or listening, please take this opportunity to focus on your physical self, focus on your mental self, your emotional self, because your emotion is going to go really haywire at this point in time. Look at your spiritual side. See, maybe you can go back in and, start thinking on differently about what you're doing. Maybe, something comes out of the whole thought process. Then this financials, we have to be more innovative now. Something like this happens. What do you do? So if all those people who are not in a position to manage this financially, they must be thinking of innovative ways to earn money from here on. What happens after this, nobody knows. And then there is, what do you call, community. Now, what do you do with the community? Like this is suddenly, you see, we have become community people. So I would now, from the 5, I'll add 6 now. From my end, when I now start teaching about self-mastery, I'll say now there is 6. There's not 5. It's not just about you. It's about moving out of yourself as well, and use this opportunity as a learning opportunity that we are part of a community. So we should be back and forth, inside and outside. So it has to be an inside out operation where we become good people, productive people, helpful people, uh, impactful people, and then we go out to the community and add that value to the community as well.
So nice. I mean, I think everything summarized in a kind of a very short and a sweet way. But I'm sure, viewers, if you are listening to this, there will be a lot of things which you need to probably stop, rewind, note down, understand, internalize, and then play.
The whole
And
idea is internalizing.
yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think this is a fantastic piece of the interviews that I have been taking in, is to bring a lot of this amazing insights, what exactly you can do with the human mind and the human potential. And I think with the 6 elements, what Abha has right now disclosed, I think you can do the next level of it. The 7th one is all the wonders that probably can give an example for the rest of the people to get motivated, inspired, and then start these things. And this is what I'm trying to do, is I'm trying to bring in people like Abha so that you get that 7th element to design all these 6 elements and make something of your own.
This is, don't you think this lockdown is an opportunity to redesign your life? So let's word it. Let's word it differently. Let's word it in a way that's positive. Let's word it in a way that gives something for us to do and enjoy doing that, and not get worried about it. And because we, as long as we are, वो बोलते हैं ना हमारे हिंदुस्तान में, जाको रखे साइयां मार सके ना कोई, तो अब बैठे हैं घर में, तो उसको उस समय का इस्तेमाल करना बहुत जरूरी है.
Absolutely. So with that, probably, I think the time is up, and we have very limited sponsor time. Anything that you feel that I should have asked you, because I think you are like, it's like an AK-47 coming with all the golden bullets coming to me.
It's too short, Amit, too short. We should be talking for at least 5 to 6 hours.
Yep. So I think this is what I'm going to do, is this is a promise, viewers. I'm going to be definitely taking her help, taking a lot of other people also. I'm going to create a complete marathon of back-to-back, getting all these influencing people, and definitely barging out to those people who are still thinking and still feeling that the COVID-19 is just, holding them, clutching them there. So I think this is the next version where I can give you the tablets at your home from this 1 by 1 feet square feet, probably the windows, or probably from the cell phones that you have. I can reach out straight to your heart and ears, and probably that's the way where I can bring Abha and other people like that. They can exactly spark at the right point when you can see the version 2.0 of yours. So with that, thank you so much for taking such a long time to listen to this entire video, because a lot of people make videos of 2 minutes, 3 minutes. They find it's a TikTok. It is no longer a TikTok. The TikTok, it's the time. The time is not it's the next level of it, right? And I think time just flies by if you are talking to somebody like Amma. So Abha, thank you so much for coming into the show. And it's definitely a pleasure. It's definitely an honor here to, I'm actually sparked up. I'm sparked and motivated, and
it's my pleasure.
The next thing I can do.
Entirely my pleasure. Let's do a series now. Let's talk. There's a lot to be talked about, and I think we should do a length of things to be able to understand what's going on around us and what we can do inside of ourselves, so we can contribute our best selves.
Awesome. So with that, let me also ask viewers, if you're watching this, do you want me to do a kind of a marathon of such kind of motivations, and probably, I'll get entrepreneurs and guides and the people who have, been the best performance in their respective industries, bring them back up one session and jam up from probably morning till 20. How about 24 hours? Why 8 hours? 24 hours non-stop. And this is what I'm trying to be, the next version, Amit Nath 3.0. If you like it, share me the comment. I will definitely give my best to reach out to you with such kind of amazing people around it. And Abha, definitely, I would like to, join me if I'm doing such kind of things.
I'm in.
Awesome. Thank
you. Without
you.
a doubt, I'm in.
Right. So guys, if you liked it, like this video. If you have liked it, you don't have to click the like button, but if you liked it, internalize it, as Abha rightly said, understand the things.
Please send your comments. Please send your comments. Let me have an opportunity, Amit. If people have any questions, people have anything to say, they have any disagreements, please bring it on. Let's talk. There's a need to talk.
Yeah. Absolutely. And this is a place where you can talk, you can share your thoughts, let your fingers do the magic, or if you want to do a sound recording and send it back to me, I'm most happy. And me and Abha will be definitely coming back to you with a lot of other things. That's a promise. And with that, let me take a goodbye and be safe, be inside, and love your family, hug yourself.
Yeah, be
Bye-bye
safe,
and take care.
everybody. Have a good time. Bye bye.
Absolutely.